Greetings, Internet! I'd like to start by saying that this is an unorthodox pair of pilot episodes for my new series, Yet Another Game Review. In light of the recent controversy over my favorite game series of all time, I figured it would be topical and appropriate to do two videos on the endings of Mass Effect 3. One that looks at the ending as it currently stands, as well as addresses one other outstanding complaint, Tali's unmasking, and another video that presents evidence from the game itself to support a very different theory about the ending. Now, I plan on doing a full review of the series at some point, but this topic alone warrants a full episode, so let's get to it! Oh, and before we go any further, this entire video, as well as its second part, is just one giant spoiler, so don't watch this if you haven't beaten the game for yourself yet. Also, Shepard will be referred to in the third person as he, because I'm tired of saying he or she. Alright, calm down. I play a femme shep, so don't all go getting your panties in a knot. Alright, you are all at least aware of the flack that BioWare is currently taking for the endings of Mass Effect 3, and most of you likely sharing the hate or hurt right now for how the series came to a close. Before I pass judgment on the ending as it currently stands, I wanted to take a moment and explore what BioWare did right with the ending and what they did wrong. For now, let's start with the good. What they did right. Now, in all three of the Mass Effect games, the dialogue wheel has always made the moral choice system of the game a no-brainer. Fortunately, the great writing makes up for it, but, I mean, come on, let's be honest here. You know exactly what each of the dialogue choices lead to. If you're a nice guy, you pick the top option. If you're a dick, you pick the bottom. If a colored option comes up, you pick it because it gets you the best ending scenario. It's very binary and very obvious. The ending for Mass Effect 3 completely changes this. Although the two side options are color-coded so that, well, you get which one is the more rash decision, Mr. Thicky Pants, the game then immediately casts doubt upon the classification of Paragon and Renegade by associating Anderson with the Renegade option and the Elusive Man with the Paragon one. And with the inclusion of the third option, your ultimate choice is boiled down to three very viable solutions. Additionally, the Catalyst has given you very little information about the choices you're presented with. I mean, sure, it labels them for you, but you have no idea how each of the choices will really change the galaxy as you know it in the long run. Plus, as you can see all around you, every moment you waste making your choice results in the death of thousands. This forces Shepard to make a decision that he does not have the adequate background knowledge to accurately make. That reflects some of the toughest decisions that our world leaders and military officials are required to make daily. It's an incredibly jarring and humbling experience. And it brings out the hardest and most important form of leadership, one that, when the chips are down, can take decisive action despite limited information on the consequences. Although the results to be expected from your choices are vague at best, you do at least know one important factor. All three, as presented, will end the conflict with the Reapers. As a result, you know that all three options will achieve your ultimate goal. Couple this with the fact that you know all three result in the destruction of the mass relays, and can tell all three will lead to Shepard's demise. The ultimate deciding factor now comes down to how you believe Shepard would genuinely react in this situation. It forces the player not only to be honest within the context of the game, but also to be honest with themselves. What is the best course of action here? What would I do? I know I had to sit there for a solid 5 or 10 minutes and contemplate the aftershock of each choice, and it is this contemplation of your actions that makes the experience your own, and makes it so, initially, emotionally powerful to watch unfold. Those first few moments after you make your choice are sad, reflective, and beautiful. Now, let's move on to the bad. What they did wrong. Alright, so I get that Shepard's fixation with the dead kid is, on its most basic level, symbolic of the billions of lives Shepard cannot save, and I also get that the incomprehensible Reaper collective conscious needs to take some kind of form to address Shepard, so I don't mind the glowing child avatar that much because the statement made there is rather poignant, and in my mind fairly appropriate. However, the Catalyst reasoning behind the Reaper harvesting boggles my mind. Yo dog, I heard organics are gonna fight synthetics, so I made some synthetics to wipe out organics so you don't have to fight synthetics. What? What kind of backwards mental gymnastic logic did that come from? That makes absolutely no sense. What's worse is the Catalyst is all like, oh, well, synthetics and organics cannot coexist peacefully, so transforming civilizations into Reapers is the only way to preserve them and enforce order. If you save the Geth in your game, you have inherently disproved this theory, and should just be able to tell the Reapers to disband right there. But nope, no, the Geth just don't count, and organic life's full of assholes, apparently. So then we move on to the description of your options. I think I'll just go ahead and narrate this one with what I essentially got out of the conversation. Alright, Shepard, you made it. Well, let's get to it. You beat my little game, so here are your options. You can go ahead and destroy this station if you want, but you'll wipe out all synthetic life. And since you're partially synthetic, maybe it'll destroy other technology, like your implants, or all those ships flying around out there. Hell, it might even send everyone back to the Dark Ages. Are you going to clarify that then? Nah. Now, you could also take control of the Reapers by transforming yourself into the Reaper consciousness. Then you can enforce your will over the Reapers for all eternity. Or, you can remove the problem entirely by beaming your DNA across the galaxy and transforming everyone into an ultimate state of symbiotic evolution, where organic and synthetic are one and the same. Like us, the pinnacle of evolution. What? Don't worry about the logistics, man. Just pick one. Destroy, control, or synthesis. Oh, by the way, regardless of what you pick, I'm going to take my ball and go home. So all the mass relays are going to get blown up. What? Alright. So regardless of all that bullshit, I sit here, I weigh my options, and I make my decision. I'm filled with a wide range of conflicting emotions as I watch the memories of Shepard's crew flash before his eyes during his final moments, as he disintegrates in either energy beams or a ball of fire, and then the Citadel charges up and releases his pulse. Oh good, there go the Reapers. Glad there wasn't some evil genie trick in there. And there goes the Doom Beam to destroy all the mass relays. And there goes... Wait a minute. Why is the Normandy making a relay jump? Why is the Doom Beam traveling faster than the ship? Oh, they're not gonna... Oh, no! Okay. We're on a garden world. Well, it looks like they at least survived the crash. Oh, but that's terrible. Now they're stranded on a distant planet, and with no mass relays, can they even be rescued? Oh, so we're just gonna cut the credits then? Okay. Thanks, game. This ending completely destroys the impact of the final weighty decision that fell on your shoulders just moments ago, particularly when you learn that all the choices essentially unfold identically. Plus, absolutely no closure is given for the effect that your decision had, other than the fact that the Normandy crew survived the crash, a result that is shared amongst all three endings. Although the survivors on the Normandy don't look dismayed or upset, rather they look hopeful and even happy that the Reapers were defeated, this doesn't give the player any consolation, because the whole time the player's just thinking, but without the mass relays, the Normandy crew is stuck on that random planet forever now. And what about all the alien fleets at Earth? And all the refugees and colonies and other systems? Everyone's isolated now, and virtually no one has the resources to survive on their own. The Quarians, including Tali, won't get to see the homeworld that we just won back for them. The Krogan are cut off and can't reap the benefits of the cured genophage. Dude, everyone's screwed. Shepard's valiant sacrifice was for nothing. Combine this with the fact that you can't even question the Catalyst about the Reaper's history or origin to gain a little clarity on the situation, and the ending seems like just one big slap in the face for anyone who fine-tuned their character, expecting to see the impact of Shepard's choices after the Reaper invasion. I went into this game fully prepared for Shepard to die. We as the players understood that this was an ending that would not come without some sacrifice, and Shepard dying is not what I have my gripe with. However, the way the ending plays out, it implies that the humans, as well as any united races that helped during the fight, are essentially doomed, that they must inherently sacrifice themselves anyway to end the cycle. And honestly, that's a pretty shitty way to end the game, and it completely invalidates the player's rationale for their difficult choices across all three games, because all the endings are essentially the same anyway, having nothing to do with Shepard's impact on galactic civilization. I know some of you are already typing your comment, actually there are 16 different endings? No, there aren't. If you're referring to that tier of 8 levels of effective military strength that is tweaked depending on whether or not you saved the collector base, then you're wrong. There are 3 endings: control, synthesis, or destroy. And the only one that has any significant variation is destroy, whether or not Earth is devastated, and whether or not Shepard lives. There are 16 different ways in which you are presented with some combination of the 3 endings, but there are not 16 different endings. But I digress. In short, the ending was an arguably appropriate way to end the story of Shepard as an individual. It was not, however, an appropriate way to end the story of the galaxy at that point, as all the decisions you made to shape galactic civilization are not reflected by the endgame sequence. The player is left asking, well, what the hell happened to everyone else? And due to the vagueness of the outro, as well as that weird Buzz Aldrin grandpa story clip thing, we don't know what happens to the galaxy, other than Shepard apparently becoming recognized as a galactic hero. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's little consolation for us players who've become deeply emotionally invested in all the characters and races within the galaxy. We don't just want to know that the Reapers are stopped and Shepard dies. We want to know what happens to Joker and Edie and Liara and Tali and Garrus and everyone else that we've influenced during Shepard's journey. We just want some closure. That's all. And don't even get me started on that true ending where you pick to destroy synthetic life and Shepard somehow lives anyway. That choice flies directly in the face of all the philosophies surrounding Legion, Edie, and the Geth that the game has encouraged you to be so open-minded about. Plus, getting a 5-second clip of Shepard breathing in still doesn't solve any of the issues detailed earlier. As a matter of fact, it makes the entire ending sequence after getting lasered by Harbinger feel even more strange and out of place compared to the rest of the game. The entire sequence barely resembles the narrative style and story structure that has been displayed in Mass Effect. And with a literal deus ex machina in the form of a godchild handing us our endings, it smacks of lazy and inconsiderate writing, as well as a big middle finger to all the fans who played Mass Effect for the intricate network of choices that defined you as a character. Alright, since I think I've given you plenty to consider for Mass Effect's endings, let's move on to another trouble spot that BioWare has been under fire for: Tali's unmasking. Now, I know this isn't on the forefront of everyone's mind right now, but before the endings were widely known of, Mass Effect was getting seriously review-bombed by angry fans over this, so it's still important to address. First of all, everybody just calm down. Yes, Tali's unmasking should have been handled with much more finesse. That much is true. But I think there's more to this than meets the eye. We know BioWare listens to its fans. You can tell that simply from all the in-game jokes. I mean, from the running calibrations gag to the Shepard shuffle. So we know BioWare didn't want to treat the unmasking of Tali lightly. They've even made press statements saying that if they were to reveal Tali's face, they would do so at a critical and special moment. However, when the Quarian homeworld is retaken or the Quarian fleet is destroyed, Tali's face isn't shown. Considering how much emotion was caught up in that moment, I feel BioWare missed a beautiful opportunity to share Tali's face with the player. Because of all this, it's even more mystifying that BioWare would include a photoshopped royalty-free image of Tali in the game as a gift to Shepard. I feel like one of the two following scenarios likely occurred. And keep in mind, this is all completely unsubstantiated guesswork on my part. 1. BioWare decided not to show Tali's face. Then, near the end of the game's development, some internal pressure, whether from EA or BioWare, told the team, "Fans want to see Tali's face. You will not exclude that from the game." Pressed for time, the team included the Photoshop picture to appease pressure from within. 2. BioWare's trying to please everyone by revealing Tali's face in an indirect way, a way that could be missed by a player who prefers not to know what Tali looks like. However, the route they took to do so is an incredibly ham-handed approach, which is completely unlike BioWare's style. This is making me lean towards the former explanation as the likelier one. I submit that BioWare could fix this easily by patching in a cutscene to the game on Rannoch where Tali removes her mask. They could add a 2-second clip that shows Tali's overjoyed face as she stares into Rannoch's skies, or her crying and broken as she tosses herself off the cliff. Having to make a model of the face here is no excuse. They could easily just model off her voice actor's face like they did with characters like Miranda and the Elusive Man. I mean, come on. Liz Roke is pretty cute. BioWare could also properly unmask Tali in the Epilogue DLC that I will now staunchly wait for to come out. Just a thought. Well, I think that wraps up just about everything that needs to be said. If you believe there's more to the ending than this, check out part 2 of this video. Regardless, however this ending thing is handled, please try to not give BioWare a hard time. I know many of you are angry, hurt, or sad because of how much you love this series, but even if the endings turn out to simply be this terrible, the rest of the 3 games was still a truly incredible experience. One that I will not so lightly disown. Just don't pull a Lost on us, BioWare. Please?
What is your name?
Commander Shepard.
What is your quest?
To stop the Reapers.
What is your favorite color?
Green. No, wait, red!